Happy birthday to you.
This was Kaydell Brown's final birthday. She died 4 days after this.
I don't think it was allowed, but they said it's legal. They can take what they want. I thought you'd have to ask at least permission from family before you took anything, but...
Imagine this. You save up for a dream, a chance to finally feel like yourself again. You board a plane with your sister, full of excitement and hope, headed for a clinic that promised a new you. But just hours later, that dream twists into a nightmare on an operating table thousands of miles from home. And the most horrifying part, when your loved one's body finally comes back, it's not whole. This isn't a fictional horror plot. This is the devastating reality that unfolded for 38-year-old Kaydell Brown, a hairdresser from Sheffield, and her family. Her story is a chilling cautionary tale that exposes the dark underbelly of the multi-billion-dollar cosmetic surgery tourism industry, and it leaves us all asking one terrifying question. How can someone simply vanish from the inside out? Welcome to CrimeLab Report. Subscribe and share, because we don't just tell you the stories, we dissect them. We go beyond the headlines and dive deep into the evidence, the unanswered questions. And for the first time, Kaydell's sister, Leanne, is speaking out. And let me tell you, her account is absolutely heartbreaking. She was in that clinic. She saw the cold, calculated response firsthand. And she's the one who had to fly home alone, knowing her sister was left behind. I managed to get a hold of her full, uncut interview. And later on in this video, I will be playing it for you in its entirety. So stick around, because that raw, emotional testimony is coming up. But first, to fully grasp the weight of what she's saying, we need to go back to the beginning and understand exactly who Kaydell was and why she made this fateful decision. She wasn't a vain reality star seeking extreme transformation. She was a devoted mum to 2 boys, aged 12 and 16. By all accounts, she was the vibrant, loving heart of her family. But life had thrown her a curveball. After suffering a broken ankle, she'd been sidelined, unable to be as active as she wanted. Like so many of us, she gained a bit of weight during that period and felt like she'd lost a piece of her confidence. She just wanted to feel like herself again. So, alongside her sister, Leanne, she started looking into options. And let's be honest, who among us hasn't seen those tantalizing ads flooding our social media feeds? Get the body you deserve for a fraction of the price. All-inclusive surgery packages in beautiful Turkey. The price difference is staggering. Procedures that would cost tens of thousands in the UK were offered for just a few thousand. It's a powerful raw, and for Kaydell and Leanne, it seemed like the perfect solution. They booked a package deal at a place called Clinic Expert, opting for what's marketed as a mummy mo, a combination of a Brazilian butt lift, a tummy tuck, and breast augmentation. They were nervous, of course, but the clinic's glossy online presence reassured them. This was going to be a positive journey they undertook together. The sisters traveled to Istanbul in March of 2024, a trip that should have been filled with nervous laughter and shared anticipation. Leanne's surgery was scheduled for the day after Kaydell's. Think about that moment when Leanne dropped her sister off at the clinic doors. The last words, the final good luck hugs, the promise to see each other on the other side. It's a moment forever frozen in time, now permanently stained with tragedy. Leanne returned to her hotel to wait, but the call she received wasn't an update. It was a demand to return to the clinic immediately due to a complication. Your stomach would drop, wouldn't it? That cold dread is something you can't possibly prepare for. And upon arriving, she wasn't met with a doctor ready to explain. She was met with a cold, bureaucratic nightmare. She was told her sister was dead. And then, instead of comfort or transparency, the clinic's priority became her immediate removal from the country. They refunded her money on the spot. They rushed her to her hotel, packed her bags for her, and put her on the next flight back to the UK. They refused to let her see her sister's body. Can you even fathom that level of cruelty? To be told your other half is gone, and then be hustled away like a problem that needed to be disposed of. Leanne later described the place not as a medical facility, but as a pop-up butcher shop, a phrase that sends shivers down your spine because of its brutal honesty. The dream was not just dead, it felt like it had been a sinister trap all along. The horror for Leanne and her family was only just beginning. Back in the UK, reeling from shock and grief, they had to navigate the agonizing process of repatriating Kaydell's body. The wait was its own special kind of torture, a painful limbo between a nightmare abroad and a cold reality at home. Now we will be playing you the full video interview with Kaydell's sisters.
Leanne spoke to us alongside their other sister, Siobhan.
When you go in and you're paying, they're your best friends and they'll help you with anything, but once something goes wrong, it's left to yourself. Goodbye.
And for Kaydell, something did go catastrophically wrong just hours after she took this picture.
I'd asked a few times how long she was going to be, and they just kept saying she was coming, and then I got a knock on the door and 3 people walked in and just said, "Can you come with us, please?" It just started trying to say, there's complications of surgery, and I just said, "Has my sister died?" And he just said, "I'm sorry, but yeah." They just passed me an envelope, said, "This is your money back and this is your sister's money back." And this is your fly. Sorry she's dead. It was a plane ticket, there were nothing.
Leanne was refused access to Kaydell's body. When it was finally returned to the UK, more devastating news was to come. To their horror, a coroner here told them that large parts of Kaydell's organs, including her brain and heart, had been removed.
When they returned her body, they'd kept pieces of her heart and her intestines.
How hard was that to hear?
Baby, I didn't think it was allowed, but they said it's legal, they can take what they want. I thought you'd have to ask at least permission from family before you took anything, but they sent a death certificate straight away and just put no, there's not even a cause of death. Just miss picking up the phone and talking to her.
What was she like as a sister?
Loving, lovely, caring. Yeah, funny.
This wasn't just a case of a surgery gone wrong. It was now a profound mystery. Where did her organs go? Were they removed to hide the evidence of a fatal error? The questions swirled, each one more disturbing than the last, amplifying the family's grief with a deep, unsettling anger. How could this happen? This is where the story takes its sharpest turn. The twist that separates this case from others. Confronted with these ghastly claims, the clinic in Turkey, clinic expert, didn't remain silent. They launched a fierce defense. But their explanation did little to comfort anyone. They admitted that the organs were indeed missing, but placed the blame squarely on the Turkish coroners. They claimed that a full autopsy had been legally performed in Turkey and that it was standard procedure in such cases to retain the organs for further analysis. They framed the UK's shock as a simple misunderstanding of international protocol, a lack of experience with foreign death investigations. Furthermore, they continued to deny any negligence in the operating room. Their story was that Kaydell fell victim to a known, though rare, risk of the Brazilian butt lift procedure, a fatal fat embolism. The UK Foreign Office has a grim tally. At least 28 British citizens have died following cosmetic procedures in Turkey since 2019. And the Brazilian butt lift, the very procedure Kaydell underwent, is internationally recognized as the most dangerous cosmetic operation in the world. Its mortality rate is shockingly high, with some estimates as dire as 1 in 3,000, a risk profile that dwarfs any other elective surgery.
To investigate this further in Turkey, but authorities there refused our visas, providing no reason why. From their Istanbul surgery, clinic expert insists that no evidence of organ trauma was found and Kaydell's body left them untouched. They say an internal review found no malpractice and her death was likely caused by fat blocking a blood vessel, a risk in this type of surgery.
Günaydın, ben operatör Doktor Sinem Singhan.
ITV News can reveal Dr. Sinem Singhan is the surgeon who operated on Kaydell. She's now left clinic expert but is performing the same procedure elsewhere. She refused an interview on camera but told us Kaydell's death was due to a known complication of such surgery, not medical malpractice. Back at Clinic Expert, the relentless pursuit of British business continues. Using an ITV News undercover reporter, we held a consultation with a telesales agent at the clinic.
I'm just looking to get more information on the mummy makeover. As you can see, I'm just all a bit, I really want to go ahead with it. I've been thinking about it for a while, but you hear all these stories about things going wrong.
No, miss, we have performed a tummy tuck procedure, every day at least 6 or 7 cases.
We have confirmed 2 deaths at the clinic since 2011. Figures not disclosed during our recording.
What's the worst thing that can happen with this, and has anyone ever died?
I can truly say that I never ever faced of this kind of serious experience in my entire career.
Plastic surgeon Dr. Harper Machin is seeing more and more patients needing corrective surgery in the UK following procedures overseas.
Bleeding and blood collections that would need to go back to the operating theatre to be stopped are obviously a very immediate complication that, yes, would be apparent in the very short term after the surgery. But things like serious infections, sepsis, wound breakdown, skin necrosis or death of the skin, for example in a tummy tuck where the skin is incredibly tight once it's been removed, those things are only apparent in the days, weeks, months after the surgery.
So, what is the final takeaway from this deeply unsettling story? The tragedy of Kaydell Brown is a multi-layered warning. It is a painful reminder that behind the glossy Instagram ads and the enticing price tags of surgery tourism, there are very real and potentially fatal risks. It forces us to ask difficult questions about informed consent, about what we truly know when we sign up for a procedure in a foreign country, where we don't speak the language or understand the medical legal landscape. Her story is a call to action for stricter international regulations and much clearer warnings from governments to their citizens. For anyone now considering a similar path, let Kaydell's story be your guide. Research is not just looking at before and after photos. It is rigorously vetting your surgeon's credentials, understanding the clinic's emergency plans, and accepting that the lowest price can sometimes carry the highest cost of all. Her memory demands that we prioritize safety over savings, and life over a bargain.